Hello, students. You are once again welcome to the second session of this course, Curriculum Studies in Mathematics Education. The second session talks about the components of mathematics curriculum. Let's look at the objectives for this session. At the end of the session, you should be able to state and explain the main components of school mathematics curriculum. In our previous session, we looked at the definition of the term curriculum and also the term syllabus and then the differences between them. I hope you've enjoyed the first session and you've answered the questions that were given to you. The components of mathematics curriculum. As we said in the first session, we can broadly define curriculum as all the experiences that students have to undergo under the guidance of the teacher. Now we can broadly define curriculum to include four basic components, and these components are the goals, which are the benchmark or expectations, and these goals are normally set at the national level, what is expected of the curriculum from implementation. Then we can talk of the methods, that's the instructional strategies that are to be adopted in teaching to achieve the goals. Then we can talk of the materials, that the media and the tools that will be used to achieve these goals. And then assessment, that is after everything, what shows that the goals have been achieved, or the methods used are effective, or the materials used are sufficient and effective. It is the assessment. So you assess to see whether all the three things have worked. So broadly speaking, these are the four components of the mathematics curriculum. And you should know that each of these components is essential for effective teaching and learning. If you leave one out, you are out of order. All the four components are very essential in teaching and learning. But in this course, we shall be concentrating on Hosing 1981 classification of components, or what he talked about the components of the mathematics curriculum. And he said curriculum must encompass aims, content, methods, and assessment. So just like in broad terms that we have talked about, Hosing 1981 also classified curriculum into four components, and the aims, which are the purpose. And according to him, the aim or purpose is a statement or assumption. So as I said, basically the aims are set at the national level. In Ghana here, the aims of the curriculum are set at the national level. What is expected of teachers at the end of implementing the curriculum. In the US, they have national goals and then they have state-specific goals that are to be achieved. But in our system here, our aims are set at the national level. And then he talked about the second component as the content, and he replaced the materials with content, the general definition or the general classification. So he said content are what students are to learn and experience in mathematics. That's the second component. And then the methods, that's the instructional strategies that are to be used to achieve these aims or purposes. And then the final one is assessment procedures. How are you going to assess students to see whether the aims have been achieved or the purpose have been achieved, and whether the content is okay for the level and is okay for the student, and whether the instructional strategies have worked? It's the assessment procedures that is the final component of his classification. So Hosing 1981 classified the components into four, and as we have looked at aims or purpose, the first one, content, methods, and assessment procedure. It is important to know the assessment component of the curriculum is very, very important. Why? Because it enables teachers to identify their strengths and weaknesses. Without assessment, you wouldn't know what you are teaching is achieving the goals or not. So it enables teachers to do that, and also enables students to identify their strengths and weaknesses. So it's both sides, both teachers and students are able to identify their strengths and weaknesses when you assess whatever you have taught. So this helps to bring about improvements in teaching and learning. If you're able to do that, then of course it informs you on what to do, whether to change your instructional strategies or to continue using that, or whether to group students into ability groups or whatever. So in general terms, it helps to bring about improvements in teaching and learning. So teachers must therefore use diversified mode of assessment, not one way of assessment. We have several ways of assessing what whatever we have taught. And in your assessment course, you'll be dealing with that. So we shall not waste time on that. So curriculum planning therefore takes note of these 4 components as we have talked about: selecting desirable aims and objectives, and then choosing the subject matter, that's the content, and then studying the best methods of teaching and the most economical or efficient ways of teaching. So which method works best? And then developing evaluation programs that will be used as assessment components. So in conclusion, we say the curriculum should include the following key components: the goals, purpose, or desirable objectives, the experiences or the content or subject matter, the methods of teaching and learning, and of course, evaluation techniques and assessments. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's session. I'll leave you as usual with these questions. I have 2 questions for you. Go through them, and at the end, we'll discuss whatever you have.